Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to tap that bell icon to be notified every time a new video is released. Thanks!
Is your magic meter running low? Well, we've got a cure for you. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePaoli, and in today's House of Mouse headlines, another Disney classic is headed to the stage, a Magic Kingdom project has been canceled, a nighttime event at Typhoon Lagoon, and so much more, so let's get to it.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
Let's start things off over at Disney California Adventure and the upcoming Pixar Pier, which we've been talking a lot about lately. News has come out that the King Triton's Carousel of the Sea will become Jesse's Critter Carousel. Jesse, the character from Toy Story 2 and 3, and this has been inspired by Jesse's wilderness friends, which are featured in the Woody's Roundup TV show. I gotta be honest, when I first heard about this, I was a little confused because I didn't remember her being friends with creatures, and I was like, what is it, or critters, I should say. So I was like, what is this theme? I don't really understand why they're doing this, but I guess there is a reason. If you're a diehard Toy Story fan, you may realize that in Woody's Roundup, the TV show within the movies of Toy Story, this is a thing. So in any case, that's something we found out about Pixar Pier coming soon. We also learned a lot about the Pixar foods and games coming to Pixar Pier. Now, the area that was once known as Paradise Pier Ice Cream Company, which back in the day used to have the most delicious ice cream flavors, I think later on and like more currently they offered just basically chocolate, vanilla, and the swirl options, but back in the day, you could get like cheesecake flavored soft served, and it was delicious, and I loved everything about it. I was bummed when that went away. But in any case, that's going away altogether, and it's going to become the adorable Snowman Frosted Treats. And this is based around the character of the Abominable Snowman from Monsters, Inc. So we're keeping the ice cream shop there, which is pretty cool, because I like soft serve ice cream a lot, and it's getting a new theme. We're also getting some Angry Dogs, which is based on the character from Inside Out, and it's going to be all different types of hot dogs and sausages at different levels of spice. And then there's Senor Buzz Churros, of course, from Toy Story 3 when Buzz Lightyear was in the whole Spanish mode. Then there's the Poultry Palace from the Toy Story tunes Small Fry. Gotta be honest, I don't remember Small Fry all that much. I'm sure it was probably a short before one of the films, but I don't remember that one. And of course, Bing Bong's Sweet Stuff Confectionery from Inside Out. And with the games, Bullseye's Stallion Stampede will be remaining. Of course, that's already a Pixar theme. But the Casey at the Bat game will become Heimlich's Candy Corn Toss, of course, from the Bug's Life movie. And Dumbo's Bucket Brigade will become a Wall-E Space Spin, which is great. We're getting some Wall-E representation in the parks. And then Goofy About Fishin' becomes a La Luna Star Catcher game. And that's kind of cool as well. I love how the Pixar shorts are becoming part of Pixar Pier. Pretty cool. I gotta be honest, though, I'm still not understanding why Pixar Pier is happening at all. I feel like that refresh of Paradise Pier was done not all that long ago. Who knows? It was probably like 8 years ago or something, but I felt like Pixar Pier is one of those things, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and it was kept up pretty well. People seem to like what we're getting there, and it's not like we're getting anything new, I would say. We're just getting a lot of layover, so I don't understand why this land is becoming a thing. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. It's gonna be fine. Like, all of this sounds great to me, but no more great than what was currently there. So, I don't know. It's a little bit weird to me. Another thing that people are very excited about Pixar Pier, of course, some character meet and greets coming there, and one very popular one is Edna. Edna from the Incredibles movies has become a very popular character, of course. She is voiced by the director of those films, Brad Bird. And so yeah, we're going to be able to do a meet and greet at Pixar Pier now, and I'm sure the lines will get pretty long. Now, speaking of Pixar, we're going to hop over to Disneyland Park, and last week I did talk a bit about the rumor of the Up House flying over the castle during the fireworks. Well, it has been confirmed that will be happening. We also know we're going to be getting a Coco sequence, and the projections, like in the past, you'll be able to see on the castle, on Main Street USA, over at It's a Small World, and also at the Rivers of America using the mist screens from Fantasmic. So There's 4 different places to watch this show from and 4 slightly different experiences, and that will be premiering on April 13th. Now, Disneyland After Dark has announced its second event. It's going to be Star Wars Night at Disneyland Park, and this is going to be happening on May 3rd, leading into, of course, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. There we go, Star Wars Day. And we're going to be able to experience the new March of the First Order, which is a really cool thing that happens over, I know it mostly from Disney's Hollywood Studios, the March of the First Order, all the way down Hollywood Boulevard with all the stormtroopers and such. I like this, so that's going to be in Tomorrowland. And then, of course, this will be a first chance to check out Rey at Star Wars Launch Bay and get your picture with her. It's going to be the return of Hyperspace Mountain, which is coming back to the park. At this event, costumes will be allowed, and of course you'll be getting Disneyland After Hours access beginning at 6 p.m. There'll be a bunch of different character encounters, themed decor, and photo opportunities, a commemorative lanyard and photo pass, and of course, May the 4th merchandise. So all that's starting on May 3rd and leading into May 4th. Now with even more Pixar news, I don't know what this is about. The company seems to really be involved in Pixar these days. This seems to be like the new thing that they're investing a ton of money into and putting everywhere. I'm not quite sure the reasoning behind that. I'd be kind of curious to sit in the meetings and figure out why this is the case. But in any case, the Contemporary Resort over at Walt Disney World starting on April 13th will be creating a new experience for children, and it's basically a babysitting experience, but it's $65 per child, and basically you're encouraged to leave your child from 6 to 10:30 p.m. with these folks while they have a Pixar-type party, and you can go off and do what you want without the children. So I guess that's kind of cool. I don't have kids, so it doesn't affect me, but in any case, the kids will be having a Space Ranger training, some Woody's Roundup, Piston Cup Challenge featuring the Cars franchise, an Incredibles dance party, of course dinner and dessert will be there as well. Registration begins daily at 5 p.m. for this. I'd be really curious how this is. Of course, some of the Pixar characters will be showing up. Sounds like a lot of fun for young children. Now, some more news coming out of the Walt Disney World hotels. This is not great news, unfortunately. They have decided that they're going to start charging their hotel guests overnight parking fees. And this just drives me crazy. I understand you gotta raise prices, you gotta make money. I hate the a la carte experience, personally. I'm always just like, listen, if you want to charge for something, just add it on to the total fee of the hotel room. I don't want to start paying a little bit for this and a little bit for that. And I get this, a lot of people this won't affect. If you don't have a car or a car rental while you're in Orlando and you're just using the Walt Disney World Transpo, then this doesn't really affect you. In fact, that's probably what they're trying to do. They're probably trying to encourage you not to leave Disney property. So by charging you to park there, they're making you spend more time perhaps at Walt Disney World and discouraging you from renting a car. I don't know, but in any case, the prices will be going up starting if you book after March 21st. The value resorts will charge $13 per night. The moderate resorts will charge $19 per night. The deluxe resorts will charge $24 per night. And of course, all the valet prices will be rising as well. Good news if you're a Disney Vacation Club member, parking is still free for you. Now for a project that's been canceled at the Magic Kingdom, and I'm totally bummed about this. The theater that we learned about at the last D23 Expo has been canceled. They were going to build a theater behind Main Street USA, and it was going to be based on a theater in Kansas. Of course, Walt grew up partially in Kansas, and they just decided to cancel this project. No reason specifically why. I don't know if it was budget or what. I am kind of curious, though, if they already had a show in pre-production that they were going to put in this space. That was obviously the thing I was most excited about, was what kind of show could go in there, what might fit in a Main Street USA theme, if they were going to try and keep with that. I wasn't really sure. I mean, NEWSIE's felt like a good fit to me, but who really knows? But yeah, I'm kind of curious whether or not there actually was a show in the works or not, and whether or not that's being put somewhere else or just canceled altogether. But it does sound like the theater is not happening. Now for another special nighttime event, Typhoon Lagoon is getting a nighttime event. It's called Disney H2O Glow Nights, and it's part of the incredible summer going on over at Walt Disney World. And guess what? It's inspired by, yes indeed, more Pixar. It's inspired by the Toy Story short Partysaurus Rex. And this is happening select nights between June 21st and August 11th on Thursday and Saturday evenings from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. It's $55 for adults and $50 for children. I think this is kind of a cool idea only because I've never spent a night in a water park. I think it's a kind of neat experience. Basically, the water park is open and there's going to be special things, characters will be there and such, but pretty much it's just the water park open at night. And of course, during those summer nights, it's going to still be pretty hot in Orlando. So I think it's kind of cool. Now for something that I've talked about a long time ago on this show, but it seems like this patent is getting rejuvenated and perhaps updated a little bit. This is a fear level patent that Disney is working on, where they're going to be able to monitor their guests and decide whether or not they can make their attractions more scary or less scary depending on how the guest is feeling at the moment. They're going to be able to check things like the guest's heart rate, skin temperature, facial expressions, voice stress, eye movement, and gestures. Basically, you don't even need to go to the doctors anymore. You can just go to a Disney attraction and they'll tell you whether or not you're in good health. This, of course, will be done through sensors, and even magic bands apparently will be part of this. Now, this will change the attraction based on how frightened or bored you are. And the thing that I'm curious about is what rides will this become part of if it does? Once again, this is only a patent, so we may never see anything really happen with it. But I am kind of curious, like I can understand a Haunted Mansion doing something like this, but like a Tower of Terror, if you have an entire elevator full of people, everybody's going to be reacting differently, right? So I would be kind of upset if I was on the attraction with some younger children maybe who are more scared, and because of that I got a lesser version of the attraction. That wouldn't make me happy. So I'm guessing that it's not for something like that. This new patent does go beyond the parks though, so maybe this will be something for a cruise ship, I don't know. But it would be great if they could get something like this to work for their movies. That way, if I'm looking bored in a movie theater, they could make it a little better. I'm looking at you, Wrinkle in Time. Now, some news did come out that some divisions within the Walt Disney Company are being restructured. They have this new division called Direct-to-Consumer International, and this division will be focusing on the streaming service that we keep hearing about, as well as Hulu and ESPN+. And then the media networks and the studio's entertainment aren't really changing all that much, pretty much the same as what it's always been. But the interesting thing here is the parks experiences and consumer products are becoming one division within the company, which has a lot of people upset because at first glance, I agree, it very much sounds like the Walt Disney Company is just treating the theme parks now kind of as a giant commercial to sell products within it. So I get that. When I heard about this, I didn't immediately think of that, although I do understand where that's coming from. My thing was, I just remember stories about Disney starting some patents about making toys more interactive, and it kind of makes me think that so park experiences with, you know, virtual reality and stuff like that are becoming a little bit closer to a consumer products experience, and if that's the case, maybe it does make sense for those two divisions to merge. I don't know. I hope it's not simply to sell more stuff in the parks, although I'm sure that's part of it. Now, for you Beauty and the Beast fans out there, some good news on May 25th and 26th. They are doing a live Beauty and the Beast at the Hollywood Bowl with Zooey Deschanel playing Belle, Taye Diggs as Gaston, Rebel Wilson as LeFou, Kelsey Grammer as Lumiere, Jane Krakowski as Mrs. Potts, and Anthony Evans as the Beast. This is, of course, similar to last year's Little Mermaid that they did there, which I believe was a concert along with the film, so you'll have some live elements in the film up on the screen, I believe. So that's happening this year, May 25th and 26th. Now for some more Pixar news, we did learn that Darla K. Anderson will be leaving Pixar after 25 years. Darla did just win the Academy Award for producing the hit Pixar film Coco, and she's actually part of the Guinness Book of World Records because she is the producer with the highest average movie gross of all time. That's about $221 million per film. Huge success story. She's been with Pixar since the beginning and really helped develop that company, so this is a major loss for Pixar. Speaking of the Oscars, during the Oscars, if you watched it, there was a really funny gag that Jimmy Kimmel did starting at the beginning of the show. One of the things with award shows is these speeches always tend to run really long, so he basically had a contest saying, if you have the shortest speech of the night, you will win a jet ski. And somebody did win it. It was a legit thing. It wasn't just a joke. A costume designer named Mark Bridges won it for the shortest acceptance speech. It's a 2018 Kawasaki Ultra 310X jet ski, which was ridden by Helen Mirren throughout the night, and you can now win this. If you are familiar with the website omaze.com, O-M-A-Z-E.com, they'll be auctioning this off, not auctioning, raffling this off. You can make donations for entries, and this will support the Motion Picture and Television Fund. And yeah, you can basically win this jet ski that was part of the Oscars that Helen Mirren rode all night. So if you have like a Helen Mirren fetish, there you go. And this is the final week of the Frozen the Musical new song releases. This week we got a new song from Princess Anna called True Love, and it's basically Anna's emotional climax in the film. It's a really beautiful song. It's like a gentle ballad. To me, I love Anna's pieces of music because I call it like the no Elsa screeching songs. So even if Elsa's singing a ballad, there's always those really like super high notes, Elsa screeching type of stuff. But Anna is just so much more gentle, and I really like it. The song begins with a little melody that will remind you of the beginning of Do You Want to Build a Snowman? It's very nice. And this is so cool. I love that Frozen the Musical has been doing this and releasing songs because maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but in the past, Broadway musical songs actually used to be part of mainstream radio play, and I kind of feel like this is the closest equivalent we've had in recent times. Of course, this isn't the case anymore. I think it should be, unless, of course, you're listening to like the Broadway musical station on Sirius. It just isn't played on mainstream radio stations, and I wish it was because a lot of songs in musicals these days are just like pop songs. I mean, if you were playing music from Dear Evan Hansen next to any pop song of today and didn't tell people, I don't think they would really notice the difference. So I think this is a great thing. I hope more musicals start doing this. And I've enjoyed listening to all the new songs throughout the last few weeks. If you want to check out this one called True Love, you can check out the link in this episode description. And now for some more cool theater news. This one's very exciting, but I gotta be honest, I don't know much about this film. Bedknobs and Broomsticks is hitting the stage. Yes, it's true. As I said, I've actually never seen this movie. I'm sorry, don't send the hate mail. It's one of those ones on my list that I gotta see. Of course, it's got some classic music from the Sherman Brothers, which I enjoy very, very much. It's gonna be hitting the stage at the Chicago Shakespeare Company. This is gonna be a world premiere musical adaptation from May 30th through July 28th of 2019. So still a ways off, but exciting news nonetheless. Now, before we get going here, I do want to give a shout out to Jazzy Girl 74 as well as Arrow. Thank you both so much for leaving 5-star written reviews on iTunes. Always appreciated. You help Disney fans find Disney Coast to Coast, so thank you so much for leaving that 5-star written review. Of course, if you wanted a shout out on the show, it's so simple. Just go to iTunes, leave that 5-star review and rating, and you'll get a shout out on Disney Coast to Coast. And for the Twitter poll this week, it jumps back to this past Wednesday's episode where we did an episode all about the wonderful world of Disney's Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. So I asked you in the Twitter poll, which TV show title do you prefer for the Disney series through the years? Because it went through many different titles, and 4 of the options I gave you were the title Disneyland, The Wonderful World of Color, The Disney Sunday Movie, or The Wonderful World of Disney. And the order it went is 6% of you voted for Disney Sunday Movie, 13% of you voted for Wonderful World of Color, 17% of you voted for Disneyland, and a whopping 64% of you voted for The Wonderful World of Disney, which I would agree, I think that's probably my favorite one. Maybe it's just because that's the one I grew up with. Thanks so much for joining me this week, folks. I do want to remind you that we have the DCTC Newsies hats on sale now over at DisneyCoastToCoast.com for a limited time, so go get them now before it's too late. You can find all of our social media over at DisneyCoastToCoast.com, and of course, join me for the Daily Disney Decision, where every single day on Instagram Live, I play a little game called the Daily Disney Decision, and you can be part of it. Head over to DisneyCoastToCoast.com, click on the DDD tab there for all of the information about that. This episode of Disney Coast to Coast was produced by Philip Elke, who has supported the show through Patreon. If you'd like to become a DCTC producer or gain other rewards, more information can be found at patreon.com/DCTC. And of course, have a magical day, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Thanks for watching Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePaoli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com.